Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever seen a rivalry like so intense it spills right out of the music and into real life? And then just when you think you get it, boom, these alliances pop up that just challenge everything.
Yeah, what's really fascinating here is watching how the whole story shifts. You see layers beyond just simple feuds. It really touches on community dynamics, how
Oh.
people express themselves creatively when things are really challenging.
Exactly. So today we're diving deep into this intricate world. It's often violent, no doubt, but also undeniably influential. Sacramento's gangster rap scene. We've got a whole stack of sources here: YouTube video transcripts, detailed Wikipedia pages, podcast interviews. They really lay bare this like decades long Cold War
Mm,
between two main groups, the Garden Block Crips and the Oak Park Bloods.
right. And this deep dive, it's going to shine a light on the key players, the specific moments things flared up, and honestly, the surprising connections you find when music and street politics get tangled up like this. Our mission really is to pull out the most important bits of knowledge, the insights, and give you a kind of shortcut to understanding this whole complex scene.
So, what does it all mean? We'll explore how legends like C.M.L and X-Raided, and then the newer guys like Mozzy and Lavish D, how they navigate all this and what their beefs and, yeah, those surprising team-ups. Tell us about music's power and, well, how the streets just keep a grip on things. All right, so to really get how this all plays out, we need to set the stage first. Introduce the main players in Sacramento's gang world. For over 20 years, the city's been caught in this pretty fierce, often very public war between two big factions. Can you start us off with the Garden Block Crips?
Sure. So the Garden Block Crips, they're mostly in South Sacramento. Areas like Meadowview, G Parkway, that's their turf. What's kind of unique about them in Sac is they're one of the few Crip gangs in a city that's really dominated by blood sets.
Oh, okay, so they're outnumbered from the start.
Yeah, numerically, they're at a disadvantage. And within Garden Block, you've got like three main sections. 29th Street, which Sibo famously claims. Then there's 24th Street that's X-rated and Block the Lynch Hungs area, and 21st Street. Another really important thing is how they connect with other communities. They share turfs and have strong ties with Mexican communities, specifically Norteños and also Tongan communities. Sometimes they even form these interesting alliances like C14, that's Crips and Norteños working together.
C14, Crips and Norteños. Given Norteños are usually associated with red, that's pretty noteworthy, isn't it?
It really is. It shows how complex these local dynamics can be, overriding traditional affiliations sometimes.
Okay, so we have the Garden Block Crips, often working against the numbers. What about their main rivals? Tell us about the Oak Park Bloods.
Right. On the other side, you've got the Oak Park Bloods. They're a really formidable group, deep roots in the Oak Park neighborhood. They were actually founded back in the early 80s by Bloods who came up from Los Angeles.
Okay, so LA origins.
Yeah, and their influence just grew from there. They developed subsets like the 4th Avenue Bloods, FAB, and the 33rd Street Bloods, each kind of controlling different corners of Oak Park. And like we mentioned, Mozzy, he's tight with the Oak Park Bloods.
Gotcha. And you mentioned that Crip sets are outnumbered. How has that affected the bigger picture of rivalries there?
That's a really key point. Historically, you might have had lots of little beefs between different South Side gangs, but we've seen a big shift. Now, a lot of those South Side gangs have actually kind of banded together,
United against who?
often against a common enemy, which frequently turns out to be the Oak Park Bloods. So it shows how alliances can shift, based on who seems like the bigger threat.
Okay, that makes sense. So we've got the lay of the land now. Let's rewind a bit and talk about the pioneers, the guys who really put Sacramento hip hop on the map. Who are the key figures we need to know from, say, the Garden Block Crip side first?
Got to start with Sibo, Sean Thomas. Born in Texas, 1972, but raised in Meadowview, Sacramento. Became a Garden Block Crip member. He's definitely seen as a pioneer of Sac rap. But he also has this kind of infamous distinction. He was the first really notable rapper jailed because of his lyrics.
Just for the lyrics, wow, when was this?
This was back in 1998. It was over his 95 song Deadly Game, which featured X-Rated. The prosecutors basically argue the lyrics were attacking political figures like Governor Pete Wilson and California's Three Strikes Law, Prop 184.
The Three Strikes Law, right, that was huge then.
Exactly. And get this, in court, in Ohio, for a different charge, I think, he actually rapped his statement to the judge.
He rapped in court.
Yeah, it actually led to probation, but only if you recorded a public service announcement using rap. Pretty wild.
That is wild. Did that, change anything for him long term? I mean, it sounds like jail was a big part of his life regardless.
Well, it's definitely unusual, right? A glimpse of artists trying different things. But yeah, you're right. Incarceration was a huge theme. He spent almost half his life in and out of jail, Starting from when he was just 10, we're talking 40, maybe 50 arrests. Time in places like Soledad, Folsom, DVI, the big ones.
And the violence associated with his career is pretty stark too, isn't it?
Tragically, yes. Like in 93, during a music video shoot, a shot was fired, things escalated, and his friend King Miller was killed. Then in 96, he used a firearm during a clash with rivals. Someone else died, and C.M.L got 15 months for that. It's heavy stuff.
It really is. Just shows how thin that line between the music and the street can be. Now, what about X-Raided? His story seems just as dramatic.
Oh, absolutely. Anna Ray Brown, born 74 in Sac. Also Block Crip, 24th Street specifically. His legal history is intense. In 92, he got hit with 31 years for murder. And just like with C.M.L, prosecutors used his lyrics against him.
From his album.
Yeah, from his debut, Psychoactive. They argued it showed premeditation. He's always maintained his innocence, and they never even found the weapon.
And yet, he kept making music from inside. How did he even manage that?
It's pretty remarkable, right?
No.
He recorded his second album, Zorcist, literally over the prison phone.
No way.
Yep. And for the third one, Unforgiven, someone smuggled in a DEET recorder, a digital audio tape recorder.
Wow. That takes some doing.
For sure.
Yeah.
And those recordings, they actually kind of document his psychological growth while he was locked up. It wasn't easy in there either. He got stabbed 7 times in 2010 because he refused to produce an album for some other inmates.
Jeez. So after 26 years, he finally gets paroled in September 2018. I heard something about the Menendez brothers supporting his release.
Yeah, that's right. Lyle and Eric Menendez, he'd befriended them in prison, and they wrote a letter supporting his parole.
Crazy. So what was it like for him getting out after all that time? The world must have seemed completely different.
Totally. He talked about huge adjustments. Just basic social norms, having personal space again or lack thereof. He mentioned how reckless people seemed and how they talked on the outside compared to the really structured, careful way you have to communicate inside.
Yeah.
He actually said leaving prison was like going from the Flintstones to the Jetsons. Just imagine the technological and social whiplash.
Flintstones to the Jetsons.
know.
Yeah, I can only imagine. Okay, so C.M.L and X-Raided, they definitely set the stage. But then a new generation comes up. How did someone like Mozzy rising change the dynamics? Did that spark new conflicts?
Definitely. So Mozzy Timothy Patterson, born 87, Oak Park, affiliated with the Oak Park Bloods.
Yeah.
Interestingly, he was raised by his grandmother, who was actually a Black Panther member.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. He started rapping young, like 16, as Lil Tim back in '04. But around 2010, he went full-time with music. His big break really came in 2015 with the mixtape Blada. Complex called it the best run of 2015. Rolling Stone ranked it 22nd best rap album that year. He got serious buzz.
And that led to bigger things, right? Like a major label deal.
Yes, exactly. In 2022, he signed with Yo Gotti's label, CMG, Collective Music Group, which is under Interscope.
Yeah.
So major league stuff.
But like the OGs, he had his own run-ins with the law too, right?
Oh, yeah. Multiple arrests between '05 and '08 for possession guns, evading police, that kind of thing. He did a stint in San Quentin in 2014. He actually said that after getting out that time, he decided, right, music is the only focus now. Though more recently, July 2022, he pled guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm. Got a year, served about 10 months, got out May 2023.
Okay, now let's talk about one of the most notorious beefs in recent West Coast history, Mozzy versus C.M.L. Lavish D. How did that whole thing ignite?
Right, C.M.L. Lavish D cutting money long. He's tied to the Stars gang in South Sac. And yeah, his beef with Mozzy is described as super toxic.
Yeah.
It really blew up publicly with Mozzy's 2014 track. I'm just being honest. It was a direct shot at Lavish D's reputation, his street cred, everything.
Just calling him out directly in a song.
Yep. And the reaction wasn't just lyrical, it spilled into the real world almost immediately. March 15th, 2013, Lavish D's crew, the Stars Up gang, they actually jumped one of Mozzy's associates
Jumped him where?
at the Arden Fair Mall in Sacramento. And the whole thing was caught on camera, which just, threw gasoline on the fire, made it super public.
Wow. And the fallout from that mall incident was serious, wasn't it? Like actual violence.
Extremely serious. In the week following that mall fight, March 15th to March 22nd, 2014, police linked at least 8 shootings to this beef. 6 people were injured, and tragically, 1 person was killed.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Law enforcement came down hard. Big multi-agency operation arrested 16 people tied to the Oak Park Bloods, seized like 24 guns. They were trying to dismantle the network, basically. And Lavish D, of course, hit back with diss tracks, too, like Mac Blast and Where's Waldo Pot 2 Inches?
So you have this constant tension, old guard, new guard, Crips, Bloods. It just keeps simmering.
Yeah.
Then August 2017, another feud pops up. Mozzy versus C.M.L, the Pioneer. What kicked that off?
Right, this one started when Mozzy dropped a video for his track, New Era, New King. And in it, he directly called out C.M.L. There was a specific line, really provocative. Tell T-Nutty that I still love him, but his big homie is a bitch. The big homie, clearly meaning C.M.L.
Oof. Okay, so C.M.L obviously wasn't going to let that slide.
Not at all. He fired back pretty quickly with his own track, Body for Body, basically saying, okay, challenge accepted.
And just like the Lavish D beef, this lyrical back and forth had horrific real-world consequences, didn't it? Tell us about the C.M.L video shoot.
Yeah, this is really tragic. Later that same month, August 2017, C.M.L was filming a music video in South Sac. And the irony is the whole point of the video was supposed to be about local unity.
Unity!
Yeah, and Lavish D was actually there showing support, giving money to kids, backing C.M.L in this unity idea.
Okay, so they were trying to bridge gaps, but then...
But then a shootout erupted right there at the video shoot. One person was killed, 4 others injured. And the person killed, Ernie Sedina, 49 years old, was reportedly just an innocent bystander, caught in the crossfire. Just heartbreaking.
That's awful. And the street talk was that Mozzy's camp might have been involved in the shooting.
That was the rumor, yeah. Which obviously just poured more fuel on the fire between him and C.M.L.
And Lavish D, even though he was there supporting C.M.L, he got caught up legally again.
He did. He was wearing a GPS ankle monitor at the time. So while he wasn't charged with the homicide or anything related to the shooting itself, he got arrested for gang association. Basically, violating his parole by being around Crips, since he's affiliated with Bloodstars.
Just for being there.
Pretty much. He ended up doing 90 days for it. It really shows how tight the restrictions are,
Yeah, no kidding. So in the middle of the C.M.L Mozzy storm, there's T-Nutty. Mozzy mentioned him in that diss track. What was his take on all this? He seemed caught in the middle.
Totally caught in the middle. T-Nutty, also known as the Flow Master Mouth, another Sac rapper, he kind of saw the diss tracks themselves as, rap shit, part of the sport. He acknowledged, this is hip-hop. It's about who has the better bars, the better numbers. But he was also quick to point out the real-world danger.
Right, the consequences.
Exactly. He said, look, he has love for both C.M.L and Mozzy, but when the lyrics lead to people getting hurt or killed, that's desertion. That's crossing a line. He also made a really sharp point that the actual politics, the street-level fallout, is something that maybe C.M.L and Mozzy, being higher up, don't always have to deal with directly.
That's a heavy perspective, implying the guys on the ground bear the brunt.
Pretty much. It's a sobering thought about who really pays the price for these beefs.
Okay, which leads us perfectly into maybe the most surprising twist. These completely unexpected alliances, like X-Raided Crip OG, C.M.L's longtime friend teaming up with Mozzy Parkblood, C.M.L's recent rival. That must have sent shockwaves, right?
Oh, absolutely. It shook the culture, as they say. Fans were going crazy trying to figure it out. Was there a rift between X-Raided and C.M.L? Was X just putting music over politics?
Yes! So what was X-Rated's explanation for it?
His stated reason was pretty high-minded, actually. He said it was about celebrating Sacramento's wins, like Mozzy bringing home Grammy recognition to the city. It was about pushing for unity. He literally said it's bigger than hand signals, bigger than blood whooping. They're tracked together, still outside. Explicitly calls for unity between Sac Crips and Bloods.
Bigger than hand signals. That's a powerful statement. But was it just about unity, or were people thinking maybe it was a strategic move, too?
Well, that's the question everyone was asking, right? Is it genuine peacemaking? Is it a smart business move to tap into each other's fan bases? Or is it, some kind of power play on the streets? Hard to say for sure.
And then, like a counter move on a chessboard, C.M.L responds to that alliance. What did he do?
Exactly. It felt very strategic. C.M.L teamed up with Mozzy's, quote, #1 enemy, Lavish D.
Wow. Okay, hitting back directly.
Right. And the visuals were key, too. They put out a teaser video showing C.M.L and Lavish D together, waving both Crip Blue and Blood Red flags side by side.
So mirroring the unity image that X-Raided and Mozzy were projecting.
Pretty much a direct, not-so-subtle mirror. A clear counterstatement.
And their track, Fair Game, people are probably picking that apart line by line, aren't they?
Oh, yeah. Fans are dissecting it like crazy. Is it just a music thing? Or is there a duper street message hidden in there? And hovering over all of this, you still have the ghost of that C.M.L video shoot incident, Ernie Sedina's death. It casts a long shadow over these collaborations. Makes you question the motives.
Definitely. So, expert, we've heard all these stories. C.M.L, X-Raided, Mozzy, Lavish D, T-Nutty. Where does this leave us? How do these rap beefs really fuel the fire on the streets?
Well, what's really striking is how these lyrical battles aren't contained, They're not just words in a booth. They directly reflect and sometimes seem to directly cause real-world gang violence in Sacramento. It's undeniable. But then, right in the middle of these long, bitter feuds and truly tragic events, you see these collaborations that are, frankly, shocking.
Like X-Raided and Mozzy, or C.M.L and Lavish D.
Exactly. And it forces you to ask, right? Is this sudden unity between enemies, is it real growth, an actual attempt to build bridges for the community? Or is it just, like you said, a gangsta chess move, another play in the constant game for status, for influence, for control of the narrative?
You've heard all the details now, this incredible, complex story, from the courtroom battles that felt so personal to the violence on the streets, and now these alliances nobody saw coming. It's just such a powerful example of how art and life get completely blurred, especially in hip-hop.
Yeah, this deep dive really shows, I think, that the war in Sacramento, it's not just being fought with guns on the streets anymore. It's being fought and maybe, just maybe, sometimes being resolved inside the recording booth.
So listening to all this, what stands out to you? In a city where rap often is real life, and real life bleeds right back into the music, the big question has to be, will peace ever manage to out-rap the pain?
Yes, only thing that I'm worried about, punch one of these pussy ass niggas in they mouth, then they film and they'll upload it. Suckers do anything for that clout. They'll trick you out of your position if you ain't gained up and you ain't here watching out. Internet bloggers, internet gangsters, who the snitches? I can't tell. On the dead homies and enemies podcast, the only podcast that I know won't tell. But I ain't tripping, I just pay attention to my own little business and I get the smell. I'm in another state, making another plate. Big plat place on my state. A plush hotel, just counting the mail.